Hello, beautiful people of the human design community. Let me come and tag you. Standard. By the way, literally just started thundering. So who knows what the internet's going to do? Who knows what the manifestor babe in the house is going to do? It could be anything. So let's just see what happens. Okay, let me come tag you. Edit this. If you're joining live, come and say hello. Let me know you're here. Hi, Rachel. How are you, lovely? All I can hear is Archie doing like some kind of weather report upstairs. He has some interesting quirks about the weather. Hi, Chantal. How are you? Okay, so it is boiling. I've closed the windows because it's raining so much. I'm having a whole hot flush situation going on because it's obviously really humid. So if I start dripping with sweat, then don't worry, you know what's happening. You know, it's all good. Okay, so tonight, this evening, good, thanks, amazing. This evening, I want to talk about the centers. I don't usually do 7 p.m. calls, but I was trying to tap into, because I want to do 4 this week, of the energy centers where we say yes when we really mean no. And I'm going to go through how that happens, why that happens, all of the things. And then I'm going to tune you into what is happening in your chart and look specifically at the energy centers. Each day kind of thing. And so 7 p.m. was the only time that I could get across all 4 days. And so here we are. It'll be perfect for some people. It will be a weird time for others, especially if you've got little ones and stuff. But, you know, the replays will be in the featured, in the featured part of the group, whatever that is called, I guess just the featured. So it's all good. So as I'm going through this, obviously standard practice, ask me questions, let me know all the things as I'm going through this. I am a generator, so I will interact with you. And if you have questions, that's going to get the best for you and for me, because I will answer all of your questions. Okay, what I want to start with is saying the reason why I'm sharing this is because I see that centers are really misunderstood. I work with human design from the perspective of simplification and embodiment. And when I look at what is talked about with centers, I see that there's a couple things that happen. Firstly, it's not really that simple. Secondly, it's not really that embodied, because then if it's not simple, how do you embody it? And also the other thing I see that happens with talking about centers is we get into this whole, okay, I'm undefined here, so quick, I need to get this sorted. Like, I need to fix this. I need to decondition this. I need to blah, blah, blah. And so in turn, it becomes really disempowering, because we're not really fully understanding the magic that is inside of the centers, whether they're defined or undefined, and how they really get to work for us with our, like, the rest of our energy. So I love talking about the centers, and I love talking about the undefined centers even more, and the wisdom that they hold. So I really want to bring it back to that perspective. And so everything that I share with you today, please look at it through the lens of, is this empowering me? Is this really empowering me? Because that is going to give you the most beautiful gift from this experience in this time, in this place. So the first thing to know is that centers are the cornerstone of your human design chart. If you think about your human design chart, maybe I'll bring mine up actually. Hold on, let me show you what is going on here. I do have one slide, but now I'm here, I'm like, okay, actually we could just bring this up. Ever so slowly. Okay, here it is. Okay, so when we look at a human design chart, what happens is the gates are populated from the planets and the transitions that the planets are in. And once they get put into the human design chart, if 2 gates join up and make a channel, then it creates the centers. So not creates the center, sorry, the centers are always there. What it actually creates is a defined center. And a defined center will determine your energy type and your authority. So one of the reasons why the centers are so potent, one of the reasons why they're so powerful is because if we go back to what is the most simple and what is the most magnetic part of your human design, well, that's your auric field. And that is in part made, well, not in part, it is entirely made up by your definition in your chart, which includes your centers. So when we look at that, we know that it's really powerful to really start to work with our centers, particularly the ones that contribute to what our type and authority is. What our type and authority is. So with the centers, we have to recognize that if it's defined, we have got consistent access to the energy in those centers. And what that really means is that you are experiencing the energy in that center in a very consistent way. You're experiencing the energy in that center in a way where not only do you have consistent access to the energy, which means that you can use it, which doesn't mean, by the way, that just because you've got a motor center, it's on all the time. That's not what it means. But it means that you have consistent access to the energy in that center. And the way that you experience the theme of that center is consistent. The way that you experience that is consistent. With the defined centers, you're not going to experience other people's energy in those centers. However, the defined centers can still be disempowered. They can still have this disempowered expression. If you think about chakras, chakras have like this empowered or they have a disempowered expression. It's the same with your centers. Because it's defined does not mean, ta-da, you instantly have all of the empowerment in that center. You totally could. But you also have to understand how it comes through in a disempowered way too. In the undefined centers, this is where we have the experience of the world around us. Because if you imagine the undefined centers are these vessels that experience through it the electromagnetic magnetism. That's the word I'm on. Oh my God, honestly, this heat, I'm so not used to living in hot countries that when this happens, it is hot. I cannot even tell you how hot it is in this house right now. Anyway, all is good. Bear with me. So when the undefined centers have this electromagnetism with the defined centers, what it's experiencing is the kind of the different flavors that it gets to experience in that theme. And what that means is that that center is going to experience the world in a different way. It's going to have access to a whole portal of experiences that the defined centers cannot access. That the whole experience of the undefined centers is so much more than the defined centers. Now, whatever your chart is perfect. Whatever your chart is, it's perfect. And if you look at your chart and you don't feel like it's perfect, then that's the work to do. Because I look at my chart and I'm like, I literally would not change it for the world. Even with all its quirks, even with all the unconscious stuff, I wouldn't change it for the world. Originally, I definitely would have changed out the ego and made that defined. And I would have probably made the emotional center defined, maybe even the G center, but like just all of them, colored it all in. But I cannot imagine a world now where I don't get to experience all of the depth of those centers. I cannot imagine a world now where I don't have the wisdom that is available in those centers, because the depth that you experience in those portals of wisdom, the more wisdom you get access to. What happens along the way is that with the undefined centers, you have inconsistent access to the energy in those centers. So if you're around people who have this Okay, am I back? Let me just double check. I'm not really sure what's happening. Let me have a look. Am I back? Can somebody let me know if I'm back, please? That would be super helpful. Or let me know if you're still here. I love if you've held on. Like waiting for me. You keep freezing. I've just connected it to my phone, so hopefully that means I'm back. I mean, we've got power back, but the Wi-Fi keeps cutting in and out. So let's see how we get on. I think it's passing over now. So hot. Oh my God, I'm so hot. Okay. Anyway, can't remember where I was. Rachel, do you remember what was I saying? I can hear you. Amazing. Thank you, Janelle. Okay, so what I think I was saying was in the undefined centers, we get to access so much more wisdom in the world. We get to access so much more experience in the world. And so what's really important is to remember that your defined centers are not these evil villains, the gifts. Okay, amazing. Thank you, Rachel. They're not like the villains, because actually this is where you have the gifts. This is where you can experience so much more. And what I find is that a lot of people come to me and say, you know, I've got an undefined this or that, and so it means that I can't do this, or that I'm always going to have this pattern, or blah, blah, blah. No, that's fundamentally not what it means. And if you have an undefined center, it doesn't mean we've got to go into this quick, I've got to fix it. That is conditioning from the outside world. That is like the masculine conditioning that we're in, quick fix it. Like, we don't need fixing. Everything that you have been designed with has been perfectly orchestrated and put together in order for you to experience the world in the way that you're designed to experience the world in this lifetime. And all of that lives inside our heart in the pearl of truth. And from the pearl of truth, it's always there. All that happens with conditioning is that there's layers that get put on top of us that bring about this sense of disconnection from our sovereignty. What, Archie? No, I'm on my phone. So it brings about this sense of disconnection from our sovereignty. But ultimately, all we have to do is like strip those layers away. I'm doing a live, babe. Okay, you don't need to worry. It's passed over now.
It's about to become really, really.
No, it's not. I can hear it. It's in the hills. Sorry.
Check the weather app.
I'm not going to check the weather app. Okay.
How long till you're done?
I don't know.
Can I come down?
You can come down here. Bring your phone. No. Welcome to Open Living. So with the undefined centers, the gifts that we have access to are really beautiful and they're really powerful, and you were designed to have them. All we have to do is recognize where the conditioning in those undefined centers are separating us from the gifts, because ultimately you're designed to be sovereign in the undefined centers. You're designed to be sovereign in the defined centers. You're designed to be sovereign in the whole of your chart. When we have those experiences in the undefined centers, because there is space for those centers to hold those experiences, that's where the conditioning comes from. It's a little bit like, you know, drinking water. If you're around somebody whose flavor of their defined center is blackcurrant, then that's what gets put in there. If somebody's flavor is orange, then that's what gets put in there. And you're actually designed to discern through the undefined centers what it is that you like, what it is that you don't. Hey, I really like blackcurrant. I'm not really keen on orange. You don't need to keep it. It's designed to sample it and to give it back. You don't need to keep it. You're designed to discern your wisdom from those experiences. However, we are in a world that we're not really taught about how to have that emotional awareness, that energetic navigation, embodiment, blah, 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 all those things, like all the things that are super important. We're not really designed to have that. So in this space, when we're looking at the centers, I want you to really tap into, how does this empower me? The gifts in the undefined centers, my favorites, absolute favorites. But what I want to talk to you about today is where we say yes when we really mean no. And that's what the theme is for the week. Because if you remember, and if you haven't seen this for your own human design yet, there are videos in the group. You can literally go Google your human design, or not Google it, search it in the group, and it will talk all about your human design, how your auric field works and stuff. But as a brief overview, if your auric field, which is determined by your strategy, your type, so for example, I'm a generator, that creates my auric field. They all work in the same way, in the sense that if you are filling your aura with things that are a no and you are saying yes to them, two things happen. First thing that happens is your capacity to receive the things you actually want to say yes to becomes smaller. It reduces. And then we go into this whole freak out and we're like, well, I've got to do more. I've got to take more action. I've got to learn more things. I've got to invest in more blueprints. No, we're just going to clean out some of the things that you said yes to that's really a no. And the second thing that happens is that the universe goes, she must really love these things. I'm going to give her more of these things. Like the law of attraction. The universe doesn't know you're saying yes when really it's a no. The universe is just going, she's saying yes to these. Let's give her some more. What happens when you're saying yes, when really you mean no, is that you are shackling yourself where you want to get to, what your desires are, what you want to create, this magnetism to manifest into your reality. You're pulling yourself away from it. It's the complete opposite thing. However, most of us are conditioned to say yes when really we mean no. So I want to explore that with you, and I'm going to share with you where this happens and why this happens. Well, actually, there's 4 centers. I'm going to tune into how we're going to do that in a second. Let me just open it up. So if you've got your human design chart in front of you, that would be amazing. Okay, so here are the centers. You can see that all of the centers have a name. They kind of correspond with chakras. And the solar plexus and the spleen, this is collectively like the actual solar plexus, and the ego and the G center, this is collectively the heart chakra. Okay. When we look at the centers, there are 4 where you are more likely to say yes from when really you mean no. That is the root, the sacral, the ego, and the solar plexus. Now, I'm going to go through each of them over the next couple of days. But we're going to start with the root. And the reason we start with the root is because energy comes into your human design circuitry, into your chart through the root center. Now, the root center is like the foundation of abundance. The root center is this, it's like this energy center that creates momentum. It is a motor center that will move you forward. When you understand the purpose of the root center is to bring the energy into the chart and to discern how to use it. Now, if your root center is defined, it's going to act in a different way, and it's designed to be a different way to if your root center is undefined. So have a little look on your chart and see if your root center is defined or undefined. One of the things that I will say about the root center is that when you think about the root center as being the pulse of action, the connection with timing, the momentum, the movement, it's this pressure to get things done. We're collectively in this world where we've been taught we have to be busy all of the time, where we have to move, where we have to be moving forward, where we have to be in momentum, where being still or being in what is more of the feminine and kind of leaning back and receiving is not the way that things are done. We're in this really masculine paradigm, we're in this masculine dynamic where actually the focus, the onus is on movement, is on momentum, is on doing. That is changing. We're in this flux stage at the moment because we're moving into a new paradigm. We're in this flux stage because we're actually transitioning into a more feminine paradigm. But right now, we're still in a masculine paradigm. So what is also interesting to notice about that, because I'm not one of these like down with the paradigm is to blame for everything, like the patriarchy is the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not really how I experience the world, because I think everything's perfect for reasons that we don't even have to understand. Our responsibility is to navigate it in a way that's empowered and trust that in doing that, we're actually creating this evolution in the paradigm, in the world, in all of the places. But the real truth of this is, even though we're in the patriarchy, we're in a disempowered patriarchy. The world that we see around us is not even an empowered masculine. So we can't have that understanding and that perspective of this is the masculine, this is how it works. No, this isn't actually, the patriarchy that we experience isn't actually empowered masculine. It's not how masculine works. Equally, the feminine that we experience mostly is not empowered feminine. So we have to understand these dynamics as well, but I'm not going to go into that today. It's literally like a river outside my house. Has anyone else got thunder and lightning? Oh my goodness, crazy. Archie will be down in a second. So the root center, one of the most important things to recognize when I'm saying, your center is either defined or undefined, and whether it's defined or undefined, it can be empowered or disempowered. It can show up in an empowered or a disempowered way. One of the most important things to recognize is how are you designed to work with this energy, and to recognize that actually most of us are conditioned with this energy, with this experience of move, do more, be ambitious, succeed, perfect, don't trust in timing, take over the masculine and do all the things yourself, right? Does that resonate with anybody here? What do you need, Archie?
I'm just going to be pacing around.
Okay. You don't need to tell me how long, babe. You just do what you need to do. Okay? Okay. So the thing about the root center is that when it's really operating in the way that it's designed to, it creates this really beautiful foundation for the rest of your energy. It's, with me, if you're new to my world, everything is sequential, but it really is. Like, this is the foundational piece. If you think about how chakras work, the root center has to be aligned. It builds everything else on top of it. The reason why we say yes from this center when really we mean no is because of this world that we're in that says, but you have to be doing more, you have to be busy, you have to be moving forward, you have to be ambitious, and all of those pieces that I've already mentioned. So when your root center is defined, let me know if you've got a defined root center. I have a defined root center. When you have a defined root center, you know the right time to move. You might have really fidgety feet, like my feet are always fidgety. You might have these pulses of energy that move through you. So, for example, I can be watching a movie with Archie and then all of a sudden I have to get up and do the washing up. I'm going to talk about undefined in a minute. So you have to, like, all of a sudden get up and start moving, or all of a sudden I've got to launch something, or all of a sudden I've got to do, like, build a website or do something that I've been not doing that I need to do, like VAT returns are usually that thing. So with the defined root center, it knows the perfect time to move. And it has this pulse of action that moves through you in a really aligned way. Now, if you have a defined root center, it is a great pulse of action, but it doesn't mean you have to use it. You still have to be tapping in with your strategy and authority. If you're using that center and it's not aligned, or you're creating scarcity in order to get that momentum and that pressure to move, then what is going to happen is you're going to burn out, because this is where your adrenals live. So you've got to be really aware. You've got to be really conscious. Is this empowered? Is this an empowered expression of this energy? With the undefined root center, you are likely to feel this pressure inside of your body to move and to be busy. You're likely to feel this like, okay, I can't sit down and rest. Like I have to be doing all of the things and be busy and be ambitious and be moving forward and in momentum. But actually the wisdom in the undefined root center is to tap into the cycles, is to trust in the wisdom of timing, is to tap into the rhythm of life and to really understand that and to know that rest is productive. If you're working with that energy and you don't have consistent access to it, what is going to happen is that you're going to have adrenal fatigue or adrenal burnout because it's using the energy in a way that is not aligned for you, in a way that is not sustainable for you. So with the root center, the reason why we say yes from this center instead of no is because there's this pressure around us. There's literally this pressure around us. There's this pressure of the paradigm that we're in. There's this pressure of the people that are around who have the defined root center, or who, if you have the undefined, you can feel that their pressure moving you. And there's this pressure to be like, okay, I have to be busy. I have to keep moving. I have to do more things. I have to be under pressure. And think about, one of the most disempowered expressions of this center, whether it's defined or undefined, is to create a sense of scarcity in order to push forwards. Now, if you've got a defined root center, yes, you're great under pressure. You can, when you're empowered in the center, like I am great under pressure, chaos, change, like all of it. I ride it like it's all fine. But if you are using the scarcity to activate this center, then it's disempowered. Now, the way that usually comes through is to activate the center, to activate scarcity through a lack of time. Well, who in this world does not have a lack of time, right? Time is one of the things that most people, 99% of the world have a lack of time because of attention, busy, doing all these things. The world told us we needed to be busy. So all of a sudden, time, when we're looking at this, the root center as being this really beautiful center that connects us with divine timing and tells us when is the right time to move and allows us to be empowered in when is the right time to do the thing. But if we're creating this scarcity and we're creating this lack, then we're going to be saying yes to everything. Yes. I'm under pressure to say yes. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to say yes. Does this make sense? Let me know if this is making sense to you. Let me just have a little check-in with you. Does this make sense? Let me know. Oh man, so hot. I don't know if there's a delay or if everyone's like really hot, melting. So the thing about the root center, let me just say this. If you have an undefined root center and you're experiencing pressure and you're experiencing this lack of trust in timing, and if you're experiencing the feelings of stress and anxiety in your body, then there are likely some things that we've got to look at and alchemize. If you're feeling like you have to hustle, that you have to achieve, that you have to be in this energy of ambition, that you have to be moving all the time, then there's definitely some things to unpick there. If you have a defined root center and you're feeling those things and it's creating whatever your out of alignment experience is. So for me as a generator, it's frustration. If it's creating frustration, or if it's making me tired, or if it's making me feel stressed, then I'm not using that energy in the way that it's designed to be used. I'm actually using it in an out of alignment way. And so we've got to tap into that and recognize what's going on so that you can attune yourself to the most empowered version of that center for you, whether it's defined or undefined. Because when you know when it's the right time to move or not, guess what's going to happen? You're going to say yes a lot less to the things that are not aligned for you. You're not going to be saying yes to the things just because you feel like you're under pressure to, or because you feel like you should. And from that place, you're not filling your auric field with all of these things that are actually out of alignment for you, with all of this energy, with all of the frequencies and the law of attraction is going to connect into and reduce your capacity to receive, and all of those things that I've already spoken about. That's going to happen less. But if you don't know what is happening in that center and you don't know how it's playing out, then that's very difficult for you to tap into that space. Does this make sense? Let me know. So if this is resonating with you, you're all super quiet tonight. Come on, help me out. When it's thundering, Archie's pacing around. I'm having a hot flash. And I've got no internet. I've got a phone. I mean, it's a miracle. This phone has been pretty rubbish all day. Does this make sense, what I've shared with you? Does anyone have any questions? Love it. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so honestly, I'm a little bit distracted because of all the things that have happened. I mean, this whole live has been like, if you watched it from the beginning, thank you for staying with me while I had some outage and stuff. So I'm going to come back tomorrow with renewed energy, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about the sacral center specifically. If you would like to go deeper into any of this, there is actually a bundle that you can get access to at the moment, which is on a special offer called the Trifecta of Business Success bundle. It's a really catchy name. I don't know who came up with that. But it's in the featured. And actually, this takes you through the sovereign code of your human design. It takes you through embodiment with all of the essences that actually, like, you literally ingest so that you embody. And it also takes you through the business perspective as well. If you would like to go deeper into this and work personally with me, I have 2 one-to-one spaces, and I never open up one-to-one spaces. So I have 2 one-to-one spaces, and I also never do it in the way that this is designed, and I never do it with the discount that's been applied to it. So if that speaks to you, then let me know, and I can send you information about the one-to-one as well. Otherwise, go to the featured at the top and have a little look at the Trifecta bundle, because that is everything. And literally it's about, I don't know, nearly £5,000 worth of investment if you were to buy all of the things individually, but it is currently 1,500, and there is also a payment plan. If you would like information about anything, let me know. I'm going to come back tomorrow with renewed energy, hopefully less drama in the atmosphere and all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. I love you. See you soon.